Welcome to the lecture on loops and vectorization, probably one of the most important lectures throughout this semester. Now let me give you a brief introduction about loops. Loops are used to repeat the action multiple times. Now this action could be anything. It could be a single line of code or an entire program in itself. Now loops can be broadly classified into counted loops and conditional loops. So when it comes to the counted loop, they repeat the action fixed number of times. The example for that is a for loop. A conditional loop, on the other hand, repeats the action till a specific condition is satisfied. And the example for that in MATLAB is a while loop. Let us look at the syntaxes for and while loops in depth. Starting with the for loop, the syntax is for followed by a loop variable, and you specify the range of values it can take, followed by the action. After the loop finishes executing over the range of values specified, it hits the end. Now let's look at this simple example which demonstrates how for loop works. Let me save the script first. This script is going to be available to you along with this video. Now if you look at the program, I say for I equals to 1:5, and then I'm using fprintf to display the value inside the variable I. Okay, so and I also added the new line character, so my output looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the column format. Now let's look at an example which slightly modifies this code. Let's try to count the number of weeks in CS20 course. Okay, so we are currently in the 6th week, but this is the 5th major lecture. So I'm just using for I equals to 1:5, and then it prints CS20 week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and week 5. All right, so let's move on to while loop syntax. So the while loop starts with setting a condition. So we say while condition, if the condition is true, then the action gets executed. Now if the condition is always true, then we are in trouble. We'll be stuck in this infinite loop which keeps executing forever. So while loop can do everything a for loop can do. Okay, so using variables that keep track of the count. So let's try to rewrite the for loop example that we have using the while loop. First you start out with I equals to 1, and you say while I less than or equal to 5, you print the value in I, and then you'll have to increment the value inside I. Now we'll see why that is so important. Now let me run this code. It's displaying exactly the same output as the for loop that we wrote earlier. Now if I just remove that one step where I'm incrementing the value of I, now if I execute it, you'll see that the program is stuck in infinite loop. Okay, so one way to come out of such infinite loops of execution is to press Ctrl+C on your keyboard. As you're gonna experiment with these loops, you will have to know this, okay, so to come out of the infinite loop. So keep that command handy. Now let's see how loops can be used for error checking. In this program, first we are taking the input for the radius. Now this while loop checks for the condition, radius less than or equal to 0. If that is true, the program enters the loop. So inside the loop, we are prompting the user again to enter a valid value for the radius. Now, if the user enters a valid value, that condition will be false. The radius will be greater than 0. So that is when you break out of the loop and then execute the fprintf statement, which evaluates the area. Now, this program is available to you with this video as well. Check it out. Now I'm going to enter negative values for radius. Obviously, the while loop is going to do this endlessly till I give a positive value to it. Okay.